Taking a look at number five now on the top five, Tua Tagovailoa. Last year he was number 10. Had a great year last year. Just couldn't make it farther down the list just because of I wanted to see how he proved it this year. If he can have an exceptional year, if he can be healthy, if he can really make the Miami Dolphins dangerous. And I mean, he did just that. That's why he moves up five spots. His ability of being a running QB, but mostly just a great pocket passer. Spacing the field, making sure he's, you know, eyeing all of his targets. And I mean, when you have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek, you don't gotta view much, man. You get like 2 seconds, they're already out past the corner, and you can just lob it up there, and they got it. So Tua's got a uh, great spot where he's at right now. Great team around him, great offense. A team that definitely has its upsides. Unfortunately, when you gotta play the Chiefs in the first round, it's bum. It's a bum way to leave the season. But this is a team that can contend for a Super Bowl. They just need more pieces. They got to definitely upgrade on their defense. I think they can definitely be a better football team this year. But overall, Tua is the guy. That's if they're gonna go anywhere, he has to be the guy. He has to be healthy and consistently prove that. Tua, 26 years old. He's been in the league for 3 years. He has 1 year, $23.17 million left in his contract. There are talks of a negotiation, just mainly due because they just wanted to see how he played, if he was going to be fully healthy, and he proved it. 17 games played, 69.3 completion percentage, 4,624 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 101.1 rating with a 60.8 QBR in the postseason against the Chiefs. He was 51.3 completion percentage, 199 yards with one touchdown, one interception, a 63.9 rating, and a 15.3 QBR. Not trying to enable the guy, but he was playing in like -2 degree weather, and he is playing in the Miami Dolphins. Uh, so that's not, typical and great weather for a Miami team. But I mean, overall, he's got to do what he's got to do this year, and I know he'll step up. It's going to be a good AFC East for him to possibly clinch that division. The Bills are looking a little suspect. Definitely got rid of a lot of people, questionable decisions. The Patriots are rebuilding, and the Jets are probably their biggest competition, and even them, they got some holes. So Miami, they should take this division. He was fifth in the comeback player of the year, and he was a Pro Bowler. Again, it's a great QB. Definitely proved it. Definitely had a better season, and he should be proud of where he's at now. Number four, we got Lamar Jackson. This year he is four. Last year he was six. Got up two spots mainly because his level of play didn't get as injured. Was there for pretty much the whole year, and got the Ravens to their first AFC Championship game in a while, as well as won an MVP. You can't just not win an MVP and be low on the standings there. So he had some couple things that happened that were highlights for him for his career, but with a terrible ending of having a really bad performance against the Chiefs. Part of it is the team didn't really use him to the advantage that they needed him to do. I think they made him more of a pocket passing kind of guy when they should have had him more elusive, more of a running type guy. That's his forte. That's what they needed to do. I feel like they should have just used it to their advantage, regardless of the Chiefs' defense being pretty good last year. Um, Definitely some dropped passes. Definitely a big fumble into the bag from Zay Flowers for him, especially when he dropped it for the touchdown. I do believe Baltimore could have won that game. I think they could have won to the Super Bowl. But again, they definitely did their part to choke. Um, and Lamar is definitely exceeding in terms of the passing game. I think he definitely did a lot better this year. Didn't run as much this year, so it's nice to see that. Nice to see some upside from the guy, especially if they want to make a run at a Super Bowl next year or this coming year. He's 27 years old. He's 5 years in the league. Has a 4 year, $225.2 million contract for him. Played 16 games, 67.2 completion percentage, 3,678 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 7 picks, 102.7 rating with 64.7 QBR. He had 148 rushes for 821 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, 5 fumbles, 2 lost. No awards except the MVP. Or excuse me, I'm totally spacing iron. Looking at the postseason versus the Texans and the Chiefs, he had a 61 completion percentage, had 424 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception, 92.8 rating, and a 73.7 QBR. Um, 19 rushes for 154 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pretty much, he was the big reason that they beat Houston because that was a sloppy game for them. Um, he was the MVP, of course, of this year. He was fourth in the Offensive Player of the Year voting, ninth in the Comeback Player of the Year voting, first team All Pro, and a Pro Bowler. So he did do more than just MVP. Like I said, he is a great QB. He's definitely dangerous. You have to game plan for him. He's got the legs, man. He's definitely a better passer than people think. Um, just he just needs to be better at reading coverages, and they need to utilize him a lot more and try to get in weapons since their receiving core is not that great. But overall, I mean, he's a great QB. He should be on this list, and there's no question about it. Number three, Josh Allen. He stays put. He was three last year. The two quarterbacks ahead of him are just better. They've just had better postseason records. Um, Definitely been more consistent. Josh Allen's huge deal and huge problem that I have with him. The turnovers are insanely high, and just he always gets ousted by Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, man. And when he plays Joe Burrow, he also gets ousted. So, unfortunately, he needs to get over the hump of the divisional round. I know he went to an AFC Championship game once, lost to the Chiefs. But overall, this is a guy that has so much talent. So much talent. Definitely has the legs, has an arm, can definitely become a magician and roll out and make a play like that. You got a game plan for Josh Allen for sure. He's a huge thing, a huge deal, man. And Buffalo does not run without a Josh Allen. Obviously, I just feel like at times he's kind of doing it on his own, and it's sad to say that, but he really is at times. And he's lost guys like this off season. Diggs, Gabe Davis. I mean, when you have Khalil Shakir, and then you got Keon Coleman. Hopefully, the drafted guy can come in and excel. But yeah, they need to make sure that he has some help. They want to make a run at anything, which they've had the past 4 years of a chance to do. It really needs to start happening. The ball needs to start rolling. Josh Allen needs to start playing like he really wants that Super Bowl, because right now he is kind of in the middle of an era where QBs are getting better, and there's more talent on the rise, and his window of opportunity is with the Buffalo Bills at least. It's kind of closing, so yeah, he's gonna have to prove this, man. 27 years old, 5 years in the league, 5 years, $242.68 million. So he has the bag. 17 games played, 66.5 completion percentage, with 4,306 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, 18 interceptions is ugly, 92.2 rating, and a 69.6 QBR. 11 rushes for 524 yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 fumbles, and 3 lost in the postseason against the Steelers and the Chiefs. He had a 68.1 completion percentage for 389 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 101.7 rating, 79.4 QBR, 20 rushes for 146 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a fumble. Fifth in the MVP, sixth in Offensive Player of the Year. He was the Madden cover. Like people know him and definitely respect him. But he needs to get over the hump and win something. Because right now he's just kind of a great player, a good to great player, but nothing exceptional that you want him to lead a franchise to a Super Bowl. I mean, he just turns the ball over too much. So there's that. But overall, I have faith that he'll figure it out, and hopefully he can get a ring in his career. Really. Number two. Joe Burrow, he stays the same. Last year he was number two. Mainly, he is a game changer. I think without him, the Bengals look just miserable, depressing. He's just a guy that just has a lot of impact on this organization. Also has done it before. He's made it to the Super Bowl with them. Definitely a guy that is not afraid of pressure. Playoff games definitely doesn't seem like he's as scared of that at all. He's kind of went head to head with the Chiefs and has done a great job. Again, has done a great job with head to heads with Josh Allen. Has had some great head to heads against Lamar Jackson. So overall, I mean, this is nothing new. I feel like Joe Burrow is just a really competitive person, and he's got a great mindset, great headspace for him to be a QB of this team. Injuries do derail him, which is sad, but I think he still has that potential to win a Super Bowl with this team. I definitely believe that 100%. Um, Joe Burrow, seven 27 years old, 3 years in the league, has a 6 year, $298.48 million contract. They did pay him, and deservedly so. 10 games played, 66.8 completion percentage, 2,309 yards, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, a 91 rating, and a 51.6 QBR. No accolades because he didn't play the whole season, about half. Um, Definitely, the Bengals need to work on slow starts in the season. They know that to be contending, they got to start off uh, hot early, and things happen in the middle of the season. I get it. Injuries happen and deadlines, and bye weeks, and you know uh, Thursday night games. I get that. But this team wants to contend. They definitely have to. Uh, Limit the amount of losses that they be taking early in the season. It doesn't really help though, Joe Mixon leaving, but I do believe that they'll be just fine. He's a great passer. He's got Jamar Chase, still he's got Boyd, and he's got T Higgins as of right now. So I mean, overall, I mean this is still a good team. They just got to keep developing an offensive line. I think they need to do that almost every year. It feels like just because they're signing guys, but then they're not as great as they were before, and I don't know. They just struggle with protecting Joe Burrow, man. At times, their defense obviously they need to work on that as well. Overall, Joe Burrow, there's no issue with him. When he's healthy, he's one of the best in the game, and he competes at a high level. So he deserves to be right here at the top almost. Okay, this is really easy. Patrick Mahomes, number one. Last year, number one. I don't really have to dive into why Patrick Mahomes is the best QB in the NFL. I think you can see from three Super Bowls that he's already had in his young career, the amount of record that he's broken, the amount of magician-like plays that he's created, and the impact he has had on this Chiefs team, which didn't even see a Super Bowl for oh man, what 40 something years when he before he entered the league and whatnot. Um, yeah, a generational talent, a future Hall of Famer, the new Tom Brady of the league. Yeah, I mean, can definitely make a case to pass Tom Brady. He's gonna need more rings, definitely break some more records. But I mean, as long as he's healthy and does what he's doing at a consistent level for 10 plus years, I think he'll be just fine. Patrick Mahomes is just out of this planet. He's the best QB in the world, for sure. And there's no debate about that. When you look at Patrick Mahomes, man, 28 years old, 6 years in the league, he has 8 years left on his 13-year contract, and it's $398.09 million. 16 games that he played, 67.2 completion percentage, 4,183 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, which is high for him, 92.6 rating, 63.1 QBR, 75 rushes for 389 yards and a fumble. In the postseason, he played the Dolphins, the Bills, the Ravens, and the San Francisco 49ers. He had a 69.8 completion percentage, 1,051 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 100.3 rating, 86.6 QBR, 7th in the MVP, a Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champion of this year, and a Super Bowl MVP. First of all, he did this with probably the weakest receiving core he's had in a long time, or in his career, mind you. Um, he also did this uh, just with a lot of questions on how this team is going to be ran and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And he did this with the pressure of a back to back. He did that. So back to back, and they're looking for three-peat, which has never been done, which is insane. Yeah, Pat Mahomes makes players better. He makes coaches better. And yeah, you just can't teach a lot of the things that Pat Mahomes can do. So overall, that is why he's so out of this world. But yeah, he's the best QB in the league, in the planet. He might even be the best football player right now. But I'm not going to stretch that out too far. But overall, Patrick Mahomes is amazing. Number one, no question.